This is the Louie Tee Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your mate, Louie Tee? Welcome. You are in the lab room. I thank you for joining me here on this program. Week number 13 in the National Football League, otherwise known as Turkey Thursday, here in the lab room. And feels good to be back in the saddle. Had a bye week, a little bit of a reprieve. Everybody needs to get away once in a while, right? Had my little bye week. I'm back. And time to break down some football. And we had a lot of it on Thursday. And this was a great helping. I hope you enjoyed, first and foremost. Hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving feast. Hope you enjoyed the family. Hope you enjoyed the friends. And I hope you enjoyed the football as well. It was supposed to be a day chock full of great football action as you had Lions, Bears to start the day off. Then a huge NFC East matchup. Eagles at Cowboys with first place on the line in the NFC East. And then you were going to follow that up with a doozy, a dandy out in the Bay Area as the San Francisco 49ers were going head-to-head with their hated rivals within the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks, to cap off the Thursday Thanksgiving action. Doesn't get much better than that, especially with that rivalry as heated as it's been over the last 3 or 4 years. Can't get much better than that. So this was supposed to be an outstanding day of football. And I must say, very disappointed with the quality of the product. Now, if your team took care of business, you were elated with what happened. If your team didn't take care of business, maybe your turkey didn't go down as well as it should have. But nonetheless, teams made statements on Thursday. Let's break these games down quickly and get out of here. Don't want to keep you here longer than you need to be. So we start in the Motor City. Lions at home hosting the Chicago Bears. 7-4 Lions football team that was 7-2 just 2 weeks ago. Go to Arizona, lose. Go to New England, lose again. And so now you start to have questions. Is Matthew Stafford going to be good enough this season to get this team over the hump and get them to the postseason? Will this dominant defense do enough to get this team over the hump? Is Jim Caldwell going to fall short, much like his predecessor did in Detroit, in Jim Schwartz? A lot of questions were starting to circulate in Detroit, and I know a lot of the fans were starting to get worried, and I tried to ease them last week after the loss against New England. I said, look, don't worry. You played some of the best football teams in this league in the past 2 weeks on the road. Nothing to be ashamed of to lose both of those games. You've got 3 cupcake teams coming up. With the way you play defense, there's no way you're not going to get back on track. And it had to start on Thanksgiving. I said, if you want to push the panic button, wait till after Thanksgiving. If you don't beat Chicago, then you have my permission to break the glass in case of an emergency and push the panic button. But until then, settle down. And so I look at the Bears. They're coming off of 2 mediocre wins. They have been struggling. So a win's a win's a win's a win. But when you beat Minnesota, you beat Tampa Bay, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. So you did what you were supposed to do. Here's a big boy in front of you in your division that you struggle with. Show me. Show me that you can beat this Detroit Lions team on the road. And then I'll believe that maybe you're starting to play some more confident football. So what I was expecting was the Detroit Lions to come in, stymie this Chicago Bears offense, smother them, absolutely suffocate them, and allow this offense to do enough. Whether it's 17 or 20 points in this game, whatever had to be enough would be enough because the defense would do what it is they've done all season long. And that's what I expected Detroit to do. I didn't expect them to allow Chicago, because I told my dad, and I had the whole family at the house. I was enjoying the festivities with, the ones that I love the most. And so it was a great time at the house. And I told my dad that nobody's scoring in this first quarter because Detroit has been struggling to score, and Chicago, they can't score to save their life. So, of course, to my chagrin, the Bears go right down the field on their first possession, get in the end zone, and I'm like, wow, okay, that was pretty easy. And they get a fumble. Jared Allen forces a fumble. He recovers the fumble. Bears get in the end zone again. You know, Alshon Jeffrey strikes twice. Never, ever, under no circumstances do you trust a man with 2 first names. And all of a sudden, it's 14-3, just like that. And I'm saying to myself, don't buy the hype. I know there were some Detroit Lions fans at their house watching this unfold early, scratching their heads saying, guys, what the hell's going on here? No, guys, this is not how this is supposed to unfold. And I never, ever was worried about the Detroit Lions in this game. Not even down 14-3, because this Bears team isn't good enough to sustain that type of football for 4 quarters against that caliber of defense. Now, all the Bears did early in this game was they came out, and you know, this is a copycat league. Monkey see, monkey do. If it worked last week, hell, why not work again this week? So all the Chicago Bears did was watch the tape from last week that New England employed. And hey, I'm not mad at the Bears for doing this. Why bang your head up against a brick wall? That front 7 is as dominant a front in this league. You're not running the football, so why even try? So they said, okay, New England didn't try. They had Jonas Gray put up 2 bills last week against the Indianapolis Colts. He's not even playing, and they're not even running the football. They just short passing game, which is an extension of the running game, all the way down the field, matriculate the football. When you get a chance to hit a deep shot, you take it. Maybe you hit it, maybe you don't. But you're not going to try to run the football because it's not going to work. Nobody likes wasting downs. Doesn't make any sense to me. And so that's all the Bears did was come out, short passing game, matriculated their way down the field. But eventually, you knew the Detroit Lions were going to catch up to that. They were going to pack everything in. Okay, so you want to use the short passing game? Well, we'll bring everybody up 15 yards and into the line of scrimmage and force you to make tough, tight throws, ask you to break tackles, and see if you can get first downs on short completions the entire game. Good luck. You're going to need it. And of course, eventually, as the game wore on, the Lions were able to get stops. The offense, and this was probably the most refreshing part of this game, is the offense came alive. And they needed the offense to show up. And how the Megatron showed up in a monumental way when they needed him. 2 first-half touchdowns. I thought he was the difference in that first half because they struggled early on in the game to sustain offense. And then you had the fumble. And then Matthew Stafford, outstanding game. And I needed to see this. I don't know about any Lions fans. I needed to see this. From my psyche, I needed to see Matthew Stafford have this type of game. Hopefully, this will jumpstart him in the right direction moving forward for the rest of the season, because this is the Matthew Stafford that we signed up for when this defense started playing elite level, top-notch football. This is the Matthew Stafford that you were expecting to get. When you went out and got Golden Tate, when you already said, hey, I got Calvin Johnson over here, I got Golden Tate over here, got a couple of young guys in the background trying to develop like a Corey Fuller, got Reginald Bush and Joyke Bell in the backfield. This is the Matthew Stafford you signed up for. Went out and got Eazy-E, Eric Ebron, got Pettigrew back in the fold. You got Fourier. This is what you signed up for right here. You got all these weapons. This is the guy you want pulling the trigger. And at halftime, I believe Matthew Stafford was 22 of 26 already in the game. I think he was over 200 yards. Calvin Johnson, Alpha Megatron, with a hell of a catch. Stafford put him in harm's way in double coverage in the end zone. And he went up and made probably a play that only Calvin Johnson can make in this league. Takes a shot in the end zone, still holds on to the football. And I said, yeah, they're going to win this game. And once they caught him and it got even, I said they're leaving. And they took off. In the second half, it continued more of the same as this Chicago Bears offense got nothing going in the second half. I think they got a field goal to start the second half action and didn't score again. The score was 24-14 at the half. They get a field goal to make it 24-17, I believe, on the first possession of the third quarter. And then the Lions just took off from there, continued to pour it on. Defense strangled, like I expected them to do, strangled this Bears offense. That short passing game went to sleep. There was no rushing attack with Matt Forte and company. And so I felt like this was a dominant performance for the Lions, one that they needed desperately. And I told all Lions fans, relax. You've got Chicago, Tampa, and Minnesota in the next 3 weeks, all at home. You're winning those games. Your defense is too good for you not to win those games. As long as Matthew Stafford and the offense and special teams doesn't throw the football game away with turnovers, you're going to win these games because your defense is too good. This is a playoff team. I told you that last week after the loss against New England. I did not stutter. This is a postseason team. You saw them on display in this game. This was the only game that went the way that I expected it to go as far as how the flow of the game went. 34-17, your final score. Lions dominate this game. Didn't dominate it at the start, but they picked up the intensity midway through the second quarter, ran away from this Bears team, and never looked back. They get it done 34-17. They go to 8-4 on the season, drop the Bears to 5-7, and for all intents and purposes, that basically puts a lid on the 2014 season for the Bears. Not that this team was going to do anything anyway, but had they won this game, got back to 500, you just never know. All bets are off at that point. Instead, they dropped to 5-7, and you can pretty much write that team off for this season, and you maybe can write off Mark Tresman as the head coach of the Bears as well in the process. Meanwhile, Jim Caldwell righted the ship, got everybody back on the right page. I think this offense, this is the thing I want to take away from this game. Can this offense sustain the level of play that we saw in this game moving forward? And I think this is the stretch of football that is going to be vital for that to happen. Because you got Tampa Bay coming up. You can ring up some points against that Buccaneers defense. You got the Vikings coming up after that. That's a tough one, but you got them at home. So the Vikings play much better defense than the Bears and the Buccaneers. However, the Vikings can be had, and if you go out and execute the way you did in this game, I expect you to score another 30 points against them en route to a blowout victory there as well. So good to see the offense wake up. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come and not just an aberration for Thanksgiving. But nonetheless, Lions get it done in convincing fashion. 34-17. They're now 8-4. And I really think they're a playoff team, and I fully expect two teams from the NFC North to punch a ticket to the dance in 2014. You move on to the second matchup in week number 13's Thanksgiving Thursday, and this was a doozy. And you know, I'm an NFC East guy, so this one was must-see TV. And it was Cowboys, the team with the star on the helmet, take Jerry's boys in Jerry's world, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly! Eagles, fly! And so, we're the Eagles with Dirty Chaz at the helm, going to be able to step on the star and take off. Or were they going to be grounded in this football game? I couldn't wait to watch. I fully expected the Eagles to win this game. I did not. I repeat, I did not expect them to win the game the way that they won it, however. And that, to me, was what was so impressive about this victory. Not that they won the game, but how they won the game. And from the start of this game, you could see a very, very disturbing trend starting. If you're a Cowboys fan, it was scary from the jump, because I went into this game saying to myself, the one thing that the Eagles will not do in this game successfully, they're going to try, but they won't be very successful, is run the football. I expected Dallas, and early on it looked like that was going to be the case. They're going to stop the run, and they're going to make Dirty Chaz be clean. And I don't know if Dirty Chaz can do that on the road. We've seen him do it at home, but on the road, it's a different Dirty Chaz. It's filthy, it's sometimes a little greasy and nasty, but could he stay clean in this game? I didn't expect him to, because I expected the Cowboys to stop the run and not allow Dirty Chaz to lean on the run and force them to have to take to the air, which the Eagles have no problems doing, which is why I still thought they were going to win the game, but I expected it to be a lot tougher because Dirty Chaz was going to make a mistake or two and allow the Cowboys to hang in the game. So, to see the Eagles have success on the ground early was scary. And I said, this has to stop, or this is going to be a long day for the Dallas Cowboys in this game. And early on, it did not stop. And Dirty Chaz was able to get into a comfort zone, but the ground game was pivotal in the success of this Eagles team the entire day. And early on, they were able to run the football, and that set up that first touchdown with Dirty Chaz sticking it in the belly and pulling it out. That was huge because the running game had worked so effectively early in this football game that it allowed them to do that and for Dirty Chaz to get into the end zone. And you looked up, if you blinked twice and you looked up, it was 14-0. Eagles on top in this game. They jumped on the Cowboys early, and it was important for them to score touchdowns early because they didn't score a lot of touchdowns thereafter. And I thought they're missing opportunities to run away with this game. You had the Cole Beasley fumble, and I'm saying to myself, they need to get in the end zone. And they ended up kicking 3 field goals, and it was 23-7 after the Cowboys had responded, and they looked like they were going to kind of whittle their way back in this game. After being down 14-0, Cowboys scored a touchdown, make it 14-7. I thought this game was going to slow down and kind of bog down, but the rushing attack of the Philadelphia Eagles, LaShawn Shady McCoy, he just got busy and he never stopped working against those boys in this game. I thought he was phenomenal. And it wasn't just him. Chris Polk came in and got him some. Mighty Mike came in and got him some. Whoever felt like running, the Cowboys defense was an equal opportunity of offensive defense in this game. They could not stop anybody from rushing the football. The Eagles took foot. Hell, even Dirty Chaz got his name in the basket a couple of times, took off with the football, including that rushing touchdown that I alluded to earlier. Everybody was running the football in this game. And so I thought that the Eagles did a great job spreading the football around. Everybody was getting their hands on the football, whether it was Jordan Matthews or Macklin or Riley Cooper. They were using the tight ends as well. I thought it was a very well orchestrated game plan offensively. Hey, let's talk about this defense, though. I mean, we love overlooking this Eagles defense. Nobody's talking about Connor Baldwin and his 12.5 sacks coming into the game. Nobody's talking about Fletcher Cox. Did he have an outstanding game or what? Is this guy not a Pro Bowler? I mean, I hear everybody talking about Pro Bowler for Fletcher Cox. The guy's playing at a really high level, and you saw it in this game. I love when guys who aren't getting noticed play on the big stage and they ball out so everybody can look and say, hey, that guy's pretty good. And so Fletcher Cox had his coming out party. For those, see, I'm an NFC East guy, so I know what Fletcher Cox is doing. I know what everybody's doing. I watch all the teams. I watch all the games. But for everybody else to see, that was refreshing, man. Pop the top. That was refreshing to see Fletcher Cox on the biggest stage there is go out and ball out so everybody else knows, hey, I'm balling out here, man. And so he was dominant. DeMarco Murray could never really get off the ground. I mean, he was solid in the first half. I thought they put the clamps down in the second half. And really, when you're down 23-7, the running game kind of goes away. I thought the Cowboys, they had a terrible offensive game plan. I felt like they overcompensated for past times where they should have run the football. They overcompensated for that in this game. I was like, okay, they're going to throw the ball here. This is a perfect opportunity for play action fake. I'm thinking at one point in the game, they ran on 9 consecutive first downs to start the game. They were 9 rushes, no passes on first down. I mean, how predictable can you be? I was expecting one of those to be play action fake. Stick it in the belly of DeMarco Murray, suck that defense up, go up top to Dez. Dez had a 32-yard catch to set up the first touchdown for the Cowboys, or the only touchdown of the day for the Cowboys. They didn't throw Dez the ball that much in this game. I was just disappointed with the way that the game was called for the Cowboys. I thought it was too run heavy. I didn't think they threw the ball to Dez enough. I thought there were too many mistakes in down and distance situations and what they should have been doing. I just thought they dropped the ball, and give credit where credit's due. The Eagles defense made stops. I mean, we've seen this Cowboys team dominate games with the run game. Not this game. Eagles came ready to play, and their primary goal was, hey, make Romo beat us. We're not going to allow, and that's what everybody's goal should be against the Cowboys. Don't let DeMarco Murray beat you. Don't let it do it. If you let DeMarco Murray rumble for 140 yards on 21 carries, guess what Tony Romo gets to do? Be a game manager. Make Tony Romo beat you, because you know what happens when Tony feels like he has to win the game? Turnovers happen. It was Thanksgiving, man. And I told you, one of the most generous quarterbacks in the league is Tony Romo. He loves to share, man. And what is Thanksgiving all about? Caring and sharing. And I don't know many more quarterbacks in this league more caring nor sharing than Tony Romo. And you saw it in this game. A couple of mistakes, a couple of turnovers. And so at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, the Eagles came ready to play. They had a game plan. They stuck to it. Dirty Chaz stayed clean in this game. The running game was dominant. The defense played their part. And they shut down one of the best offensive attacks in the entire National Football League. Eagles go on the road, make a statement that they're about to fly. Eagles fly and take off with this division, with a huge one in Big D, 33-10. Wowzers, did not see that coming. And what I didn't see was the dominance of the Eagles' run game and their ability to stop the run game on the other side of the football. Did not see that coming. Did not expect the Eagles to out-physical the Cowboys in their house. But then again, Cowboys haven't lost on the road this year. All 4 of their losses have come at home. So it shouldn't come to a surprise to anybody that they had a huge letdown at home. Cowboys going to have to pick up the pieces and figure out some things next week as they're on Thursday again, this time against the Bears. We saw them lose earlier in the day, so you can expect the Cowboys to come out focused and play with a sense of urgency, getting late early for the Cowboys. And in the NFC conference where it's tough for everybody, somebody's not getting a ticket. This is a big game of musical chairs. Somebody's getting left without a chair. Either the 49ers or the Cowboys are getting left without a chair. Now, if you're Dallas, next week's game becomes paramount. You can't lose to the Bears. I don't give a damn if it's below freezing in that game. I don't care if the Bears play their best football of the season. You got to find a way to win that game. You can't lose it. You do, and pretty sure you're going to regret that one because, again, remember, 49ers hold the tiebreaker over you with that Week 1 defeat that you suffered at the hands of those 49ers in Big D in Week 1. So you have to make sure that under no circumstance you finish tied with the 49ers record-wise, or else they win the tiebreaker. So tough loss, humongous win for the Philadelphia Eagles. That was impressive. Dirty Chaz stayed clean. The running game was dominant. The run defense was dominant. I thought they actually did a really good job of being aggressive and physical in the secondary, really not allowing the Cowboys to have airspace to catch the football. I thought the officials did a great job of allowing the guys to play in the secondary. There were a couple of calls where you could say, hey, that was a flag. A couple of times I saw some Eagles defensive backs get away with face guarding, but hey, no flag, no foul. Eagles really took it to the Cowboys in this game. Dominant performance by Fletcher Cox. Offensive line deserves kudos. They opened up some gaping holes. And again, I can't state this enough. Dirty Chaz staying clean. What a performance. 33-10. Now, Eagles sole possession of first place in the NFC East at 9-3. And they still got these boys coming to their crib later on in the season. It was a huge win for the Eagles. Cowboys drop to 8-4 on the season. You move on to the nightcap. This was supposed to be big boy, big britches, pull up your bootstraps football, NFC West style. If these two teams said they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, well, it's family business. This was supposed to get grimy, gritty, and nasty. Seattle Seahawks don't like the 49ers. This was supposed to be epic. It turned out to be an epic fail by the San Francisco 49ers. I was disappointed, and I wasn't surprised. I'd be lying to you if I said that I was surprised at how they showed offensively, because I've seen this for weeks, hell, months with this team. They don't score points. The Redskins last week were dreadful offensively, and they had the lead late in the fourth quarter with a chance to win and couldn't hold on because they're a bad football team. But that's what the 49ers do. They give teams that aren't good hope because they don't score points. Hell, they turned Eli Manning over with 5 interceptions and still only won 16-10. Hard to do that in this league. When you generate that many turnovers in a game, generally you win going away. They barely won that football game. And so this team is offensively challenged. They're anemic on the offensive side of football. Seattle isn't much better. They don't score a lot of points, but they score enough points. And so I figured that if this Seattle Seahawks, and I talked about this 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, when they lost to Kansas City, I told all Seahawks fans, and hell, I was talking to the team as well. I said, if you want to make the postseason, you don't need to change anything offensively. Your offense isn't your problem right now. It's your defense. Because offensively, you're doing the same thing you did last year. Okay? Nothing has changed for the most part. Russell Wilson still managing the game. The running attack with Marshawn Lynch and company still solid as ever. You're not doing anything different. You don't have a star receiver. You never did. You still don't. Everything is basically the same offensively. You piece together points. Your defense isn't the same. That's where the problem lies. The reason why you're not 9-3 right now, the reason why you're not leading this division at 10-2 is because your defense isn't playing at the same level it was playing at this time a season ago. And if you get back to that kind of football, and we saw that last week against Arizona, we need more of that. If you play at that level, not many teams in the NFC are going to beat you. Not many teams in this league, as we found out last year, are going to be able to contend with you. And so I said, if you can take that defensive performance that you had last week against Arizona and bring it to Levi Stadium on Thursday Night Football, 49ers don't stand a chance. Because they already struggle on their own without a defense on the field. Hell, you put them on the field against air and they're still going to struggle to put up 17. Okay? So put an elite defense in front of them like the one we saw against Arizona in week number 12. You put that kind of defense in front of them, they might not score in the game. So I already knew San Francisco, unless they change some things. And you know, when it's family business, when it's family members, you never know what to expect. But I do know bad offense when I see it. San Francisco, that's bad offense. So I said, unless they change some things drastically, they are going to struggle against this Seattle Seahawks football team. That's what happened. Now, did I expect it to be as bad as it was? No. Okay, I didn't expect some of the defensive breakdowns that I got. I mean, how many times can... Okay, first of all, brilliant game plan. Brilliant game plan by Darren Bevel and the Seattle Seahawks offensive football team. Here's why. It was simple. They simplified everything in this game. They said, okay, 49ers are playing some really good football defensively right now. They're starting to get a little bit of confidence getting after the quarterback. That's something they struggled to do early in the season. So what we're going to do is, instead of keeping Russell in the pocket where he struggles anyway, and have him be a sitting duck with Aaron Lynch, who's starting to heat up, with, you know, a brand new, fresh Aldon Smith coming back. Of course, the Cowboy right there in the middle of the defense. Instead of having him be a sitting duck in the pocket, we can get him outside. We're going to run bootlegs all night until the 49ers vomit bootleg, okay? So we're going to run bootleg, get Russ outside the pocket, and let him create magic, okay? Maybe he'll have to make a guy miss or two. He's going to find the guy. Doesn't Russ always find the guy that's open after he makes one or two guys miss and look bad? Well, on this particular night, he had to do that Houdini act a couple of times, but for the most part, the bootleg was there, and guys were running wide open all night. I mean, when you see a tight end catch the football on the sideline and they're playing against an aggressive 49ers defense, you're expecting someone to show up in the picture maybe 1 or 2 yards after the catch. Oh, okay, somebody's coming to cut this guy down, mow him down right now. Okay, somebody's coming right now. Oh, okay, it's 10 yards. Okay, somebody's definitely showing up now. I mean, guys were running for like 22. I mean, Turbin caught a check down for a touchdown. Okay, somebody's coming to get Robert Turbin, right? Wrong. He's getting in the end zone, touchdown. They threw another check down. I want to believe it was Turbin again. Might have been Marshawn Lynch. One of the backs out of the backfield. I'm like, okay, somebody's coming to get this guy, right? Wrong. He rumbled for about, 25 yards down inside the 49ers, 5-yard line. I think they were able to hold him to a field goal, but you knew points were going to be of the utmost importance in this game because San Francisco doesn't score. You had opportunities to recover fumbles. Russell Wilson put one on the ground. Marshawn Lynch dropped one, put it on the ground, and you just couldn't recover. I mean, it was that type of night where you couldn't get a break. And the Seahawks, they didn't. It wasn't from a lack of them trying to give you some help. I mean, damn, how many penalties do you need? I mean, the Seahawks gave you about 14 or 15 penalties. At one point, I definitely know it was 13 for 100. All right, 13 for 100, straight up. So they were giving you all the help. I mean, there was one. Matter of fact, the 49ers' only scoring drive of the game was damn near necessitated off of Seahawks penalties alone. I mean, literally, every time they got into a third down situation, some kind of penalty that kept the drive alive and got them in the field goal range. They struggled with pushing the ball down the field. I thought it was just as vanilla an offensive game plan as you can have. And they took some bad shots at Richard Sherman. Look, you cannot try Dick Sherman on those type of routes. If Dick Sherman is in cover 3, don't throw the football. He's not falling for the double move. And I thought Brandon Lloyd ran some horrendous double moves. I mean, what the hell is this? You know, who's falling for that stop and go? I'm not falling for that. Dick Sherman is not falling for that, man. So I just thought it was a terrible, and some bad throws. I mean, you threw the football right to Dick Sherman on one of them. I'm like, come on, man. I mean, Lloyd is going outside, Cap throws it inside. Dick Sherman's like, hey, thanks, man, I appreciate it. That was his second pick of the game. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, go somewhere else. I mean, you really expect Brandon Lloyd to keep winning one-on-one against Dick Sherman? What are you doing? So they were banging their head up against a brick wall. The running game didn't work. Seattle basically dared them to go up top. They said, I double dog dare you to go up top. I'm taking everybody, Earl, Camp, I'm bringing everybody 15 yards and into the line of scrimmage. Because all you're doing is check down city. You think you're going to beat us checking the football all the way down the field? Let me slap you in the face with this cold dose of reality, cold, hard dose of reality. And the reality is, you're not scoring more than 3 points in this game. If you can't push it down the field, we got you right where you want, well, where we want you. And the Seahawks totally dominated this game. Now, they still got some offensive issues, okay? They should have beat 49ers in this game 30-3. This game shouldn't have even been close. But because of their inability to get in the end zone, because of their own ineptitude offensively, it was 19-3. It doesn't matter when you're playing against a team like this. You can get away with scoring 19 points and winning. But what happens when you play teams that can actually deposit the football into the end zone? What happens when you play a team that isn't offensively inept and can actually throw a pass 15 yards down the field? 19 points, which is what you scored last week, which is what you scored this week, isn't going to get it done. So I need to see more from the Seahawks. Look, I'm not asking for much more. 19 isn't that far away from where I want you to be. If you can score 24, you're going to win a lot of games. If your defense is playing the way they're playing now, 24 isn't even necessary. More like 20 will get it done just about every week. Because that was dominant. The week before was dominant. And if that's what you're going to do moving forward, this team is in a really good spot. Like I already said, only 6 teams, and we know this to be, I hate to be Captain Obvious, okay? But only 6 teams are getting a ticket to the dance. At one point, it looked like only one team was coming out of the West. I still think Arizona, because they built such a lead, they're going to win that division. But I feel like Seattle controls their own destiny because they still got Arizona one more time. They still have another date with the 49ers, and that one will be in CenturyLink. I don't expect San Francisco to win that one either. And so now it all comes down to what happens with Arizona in these other games, Atlanta game that could possibly be a loss. What happens with a game like that? Can they get that game? They should be able to, but you don't know. All you can do is take care of what you have to take care of. And right now, I feel like you're in a very good, advantageous spot if you're Seattle because you're playing some of your best football of the season. Right now, and this is the perfect time to be doing it. They put the clamps down on the 49ers 19-3, suffocate them defensively. The 49ers look bad. It's so bad, in fact, Trent Baalke's daughter criticized offensive coordinator Greg Roman on Twitter. The Baalkes have since apologize. Don't be sorry. Be better, okay? This offense looks bad. And they need to fix it and fix it fast because this defense is playing well enough to win football games. This offense is playing so bad that I think they're going to play this 49ers team right out of postseason contention. You look at it from the Seahawks perspective. I love what you're doing right now. I'd like to see more offensive fluidity, more points being scored, but at the end of the day, if you just stay out of the defense's way, if you just do enough, you're going to make the postseason. The way I see it right now, the NFC West, Arizona, Seattle, NFC East, just Philadelphia, NFC South, God help us all, pick a team, put them in the playoffs, get them out of the playoffs in the first week. And then the NFC North, Detroit and Green Bay. That's your 6 teams for the postseason. For me right now, this league is fluid. It changes from week to week. Seattle looks great now. Next week, they could go to Philadelphia, get their brains bashed in, and never recover. We don't know what could happen. All I know is right now, the Seahawks are playing outstanding football. They're 8-4, and they look like a defending Super Bowl champion football team right now. As for the 49ers, I don't know what else to tell you. You're 7-5. You ran the football, but to no avail. Cap looks like he's regressing by the week. Your offensive game plan was terrible. And your defense, while good, can't do much more than they're already doing with the stuff that they have. I don't know what else to tell you. I really don't know what else to say to a 7-5 football team that probably deserves to go to the postseason, but when it's all said and done, probably will not. You still got 4 games to try to turn this thing around. But the way I've seen your offense look all season long, and literally from the last, I'd say 6 weeks or so, I don't see this thing getting much better right now, which is what you needed to do, get better right now. Not now, like right now. And so, Seahawks get it done in convincing fashion on the road, send a message to the rest of that division in the NFC West and hell, the rest of the NFC Conference. Here we come. 19-3. Go to 8-4 in the season. They're in a really good spot. Big one on the road next week at Philadelphia. A lot of eyes will be on that one. We'll see what happens there. For the 49ers, at 7-5, you have a long uphill climb to make the postseason, including another game at Seattle. Didn't look good at home. Probably won't look much better when you head out to the North Pacific West. That's going to do it for me here in the lab room, breaking down the Turkey Day matchups. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I'm back like cook crack to break down the rest of the 2014 season. I'll be back, break down all the action in week number 13 in the National Football League. Enjoy the rest of the college football and the rest of the weekend. I will see you later on in the week.